I thought Rose won round 1, but it was close. I thought she won round 2, but it was close. If I found out that the judges didn't agree with me, I couldn't even put up a fight. I thought she won them, but it was close. 3 and 4, Joanna. So then we go into the 5th, which is an absolute dogfight, some good combinations by Rose. It's a back-and-forth battle, and Rose hits that takedown. I thought the takedown sealed the deal. I do have to also admit, when she hit the takedown, she did nothing with it. She didn't have an opportunity, right? Joanna was hitting her and punching and just out there just street fighting. And Rose never had a chance to gain elevation, get her head higher than Joanna's and start raining down some strikes of her own or a pass or anything like this. I did think that takedown, though, was enough in a very close round. Judges agreed. But a couple of judges did have it 4-1 for Rose. Great fight, incredible heart by both girls. Joe Rogan did say it best when he said, listen, it's not just a matter that you beat her at her own game. There was some numbers that came out, and punch stats are always fun, but it's hard to chalk them up for anything more than that. But the author of the article was clearly, to me, a non-fighter. So the punch stats come out, and they love to say things like how many punches were thrown, how many landed, how many kicks were thrown, how many landed, how many takedown attempts, how many takedowns were attempted, how many successful takedowns were there. And this is their way of boxing this into a corner. And you know right out of the gate why that's wrong. It doesn't matter at all in terms of the judge's mind who touched who the most. That's an amateur stat. In amateur boxing, specifically. Doesn't carry over to judo or wrestling. But in amateur boxing specifically, it is who touched who more. In professional, it is very clear per the statute, it is about damage. So while these people do love to come out and argue the numbers after the fact, and in this case, it was Joanna. Well, Joanna touched her more times. Joanna threw more strikes and landed more strikes. How could she possibly have lost? That data sample is flawed. First off, it's a 10-point must system, meaning each round gets judged. You then see who won the most rounds to see who the winner is. So 300 significant strikes in a fight versus 200 significant strikes is not apples to apples because it matters what round they came in. If one person landed 50 more strikes in a round, they likely won the round. But it doesn't carry over to the next round. So first off, you've got a problem there. Now let's say the scenario that I just laid out for you still isn't accurate to my point, and that one person landed more strikes in each and every round, including the rounds they lost. Well, it's about damage. There was not very many Mike Tyson fights where he touched his opponent more times than he got touched. But those anvils that he came in and landed on his opponents did more damage. I use him as an example because I know it's one that you guys can relate to. But it is about damage, so looking at some of those numbers is a really goofy thing. And then this particular author, he even had, it must have just been his opinion. I mean, he had passes in there, guard passes. There's a significant belief in MMA that you shouldn't even pass guard. It started with Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock had one of the most successful careers ever. He said, don't pass guard. Sit in it and use it to pound. So when you start having these brainiacs that want to break down what a judge should be looking for, that's always annoying to me. It is. It does not get scored the same. Judging has to be very wide open and in some ways uncontrolled. Go look for damage.